All right, what's up everybody? Now that I've got sound, I basically shot the whole video and the receiver for the microphone wasn't on, but this is gonna be kind of a two-part kind of video. There's gonna be kind of tell y'all which way the ranch is headed, and the highlight of the video, I'm sure, is gonna be this bad boy. This is Appalachian Bee Ranch's newest, latest, and greatest beehive moving tool. Here we come, 64 deep, humidity about 90 degrees, and these bad things are just patched. I'll put a timestamp somewhere where if y'all just want to see about the hand truck, y'all can skip to that. Just a few updates on which way the ranch is headed. It's kind of not been such a great spring. I had a good time in Hahira. I made a lot of bees, and the bees did really good down there. But trying to get them home and trying to get everything organized and a few queens shipped out has been a hassle. Trucks have been breaking down. Babies have not been letting me get but an hour of sleep a day, so it's been kind of a tough spring, but it's not bad. He's kicking and screaming, so I cannot complain about that. The first big update on the ranch is I'm changing up my genetics. The reason why, and a lot of y'all are probably, why would you do that? And the reason for me is I'm changing my level of beekeeping. I'm going from kind of sideliner into small commercial, and for me to do that, I was running Bob's Caucasian Carniolan queens, and I love them. They're really good bees, especially if you're stationary and you stay in the mountains and you don't move and you don't go anywhere and you got some decent winters to try to go through. They're a wonderful bee. But for me, I'm now migratory, and my bees need to start brooding up a little sooner and a little later. So on that note, I'm going to start pushing a lot more Italian, possibly a little bit of Cordovan. Travis has a Cordovan queen, I think, if she didn't swarm. I don't know. I'll have to see about that. He's got a really nice Cordovan bee that I'd like to graft a little bit off of. She's not AI'd or nothing. She's just open mated. She's got salt and pepper stock in her beehive. But anyway, so we're going to start pushing a lot more yellow in the outfit, and hopefully that'll make, you know, because as you sell bees, you need to make more bees, and the easiest way to make more bees is to have big colonies, and the big colonies come out of the Italian stock. Now, that being said, the temperament is going to go way up, and y'all are probably going to see me start wearing gloves more often, because I'm tough, but I'm not that tough. That's where we're headed as far as the genetics go. I'm also going to be changing up my hive setup a little bit, and there's two beekeepers online that I really want to have a conversation with about this, because I know for a fact there's one guy that loves running what we call a 1.5, which is a deep and a medium, and then there's another YouTube beekeeper that I know of who lives in Louisiana, or not Louisiana, he lives in Alabama, excuse me. He hates 1.5. He said it multiple times on a live stream that a lot of people I know watch. And he doesn't like 1.5, so he's trying to get away from them. So I kind of want to talk to both of them about it, perhaps on a YouTube video, I don't know, and see what the pros and the cons are, and if I go in, what I need to know, and some tips and tricks and stuff like that. The other reason, and you know, a lot of people are probably going to say, why don't you just run a double deep? Well, there's two reasons. They're heavier than hell, and I can't stack them on a trailer. I could stack them with a forklift all day long, but I can't afford to fix the truck that I have that's broke, so I definitely can't afford a forklift. I am the machine in my bee operation, so I have to be able to stack them to maximize my efficiency going to and from Hahira. I can get 64 on a trailer load stacked too high, and I have a theory that I can go 3 high on certain sets of stacks, but we're going to have to try that. We're just going to have to see how that goes. But anyway, So that's another big change that's coming soon. I don't know if I'm going to get it done this year, if I'm going to try to do it in the spring. I have enough supers to do it now. I just don't know if I want to start that process or if I want to get my bees set up for the fall time, sell a bunch in the fall time, and go from there. I don't know. It's one of those things. We'll cross that bridge when it gets here. I guess now we can jump into the hand truck. So this is, I'm not sure what it is, to be totally honest. I know it's old and it was junk, and somebody I know was going to throw it away, and I said, no, I'm keeping that. So I'm glad I did, because it came in handy, because I had exactly enough of it to make 2 of these hand trucks, and it worked pretty good. For being, I think it's old water pipe. I think it's like old household water pipe that used to run from hand pump wells. I don't know though. It's not quite, it's like maybe a little thicker than 1/8 of an inch. It's 1 5/16 inch OD outside diameter, and it's really light. This hand truck is extremely lighter than the big blue Bertha Bob used to use. And I'm not knocking that hand truck, because it works perfectly. It does what it's made for, and it's great. The only negatives to this hand truck is I wish I would have put the handles on the first one lower. I did it on the second one, but the second one, the axle got screwed up. I didn't set the ride height right, so it makes it kind of difficult to move and do around. But I wish I would have put these handles more like under, like, you know, 1 inch or 2 below the top of the hand truck, because that just makes it more easy to grab. It's not bad. It's just one of those things where you do it several thousand times, you kind of wish you would have put it lower. The pro is it's light and the material was free. The only thing it cost me was like 10 pounds of rod and the time. I welded the hell out of this thing. I hit it with a sledgehammer several times, and then most of it didn't move. So I think we're good on that. It's pretty solid. But yeah, we'll go into some specifics here pretty quick. All right, so I kind of want to put the blue one on a scale and this thing on a scale just to see what the weight difference is. Because even Travis mentioned that this was easier to use than the blue one. I didn't really care, because the blue one was being lent to me and it worked, and I was happy to have a hand truck and not be hand moving 200 and 300 colonies back to and from Hahira. So we're going to jump into, you know, some specifics, what I would have done different, all that good stuff. The first thing, I know the frame from that corner to the bottom corner right there is 50 inches. It's 50 inches high, and that's pretty good for me. I don't know that I would have made it any lower. If I would have, I would have welded the handles to come up about chest high. I think that's your good leverage point, is like right in your kind of like diameter at breast height, for those of y'all who know what that is. That's a good angle to be yanking and pulling from. The wheels are Harbor Freight. I believe they're 9-inch flat free tires. I would get foam filled ones if I had a choice, but that was the only tire they had 4 of, so I bought those. And they ride pretty hard. Like if you hit a bump, you know it. With the foam filled ones, it actually gives you a little bit of cushion. So as you can see, I welded basically everything but the axle out of pipe, and I put some 3/8 flat stock right there, just to give myself a little bit of room between the hand truck and the front of the frame down here to set the axle back some. And I still had to put some pipe right there. And the other thing I like about the pipe is it's cheap and easy to use. So these are box stops. What that is when you go into the back of the pallet, that stops your box from rolling backwards. I did not have that on there the first time I went to use it, and it was pretty not great. So if you're gonna make it, and the other reason I'm glad, it's kind of a happy accident, as I only made that 4 inches high. That saves a lot of weight between there and there. If you just put, I think that's a 4-inch piece of pipe I welded on there, and then I turned that one sideways just to give me a little extra support at the top. It really helps keep the boxes on the pallet while you're moving it, and it doesn't hurt you at all. And the axles, all I did was, it's just a solid axle. Put some tack welds. I did not weld the tire to the axle, or the bearing to the axle. It looks like I did, but that's just because I made my clearance so tight. I just used a nail there. A cotter pin would work way better. But over here you can see I put some space in between the tacks, and it, you know, you want to have a little bit of wiggle room, but not too much. As for the forks, I did those out of pipe as well. I just came in the bottom here and I notched, this pipe is 1 5/16 wide. So I just cut the pipe, flattened it out a little bit, and welded that on there. And yes, my welds look like garbage. I have not welded in a long time. I have not welded pipe in a super long time. So, you know, that's why I made it past the sledgehammer test before we went anywhere. But anyway, it'll hold, I think. Those don't look bad. Those don't look terrible, right? Yeah, no, I'm not made to be a pipeline man for sure. But anyway, so the other thing about this hand truck that I would have done different is there needs to be about 3 inches from the top of this pipe to the bottom right here. So I'm probably going to take another little piece of pipe and tack it at a 90 degree right there. And the reason for that is I'll show y'all here in a second, but when you go to pick up a pallet, it gets a little wobbly when you go to stack it. But other than that, that hand truck's pretty great. It's light, it moves around really good, goes up and down the trailer just fine, and you know, it moves the pallet. So I'm happy with it. It's not back breaking, and it works pretty good. So let's jump into showing y'all how we use this thing. So first things first, stacking and unstacking. I don't know if I've done a great demonstration on this. I think Bob's got a video on his channel where he watched me load with the big blue hand truck. But anyway, those are empty. You usually have to kind of roll it and unstack it back. Stacking is where you really need that end piece on that fork, because you roll it in there, get it kind of right. I generally just stack it on there and kind of look at the sides, and that right there is the problem. It moves way too much inside of the 2x4s. If I had that piece on there, it wouldn't. And it would be a lot stouter when I pick it up and move it and slide it. And the jar caps, there you go. You kind of have to roll it to the jar cap and then stop again. But that went pretty good. And, you know, stacking them's pretty easy. Even with full-blown, like, plugged-out singles, it works pretty good. I can't complain. If they were light enough, I dare say, and I had the right kind of stuff, you about could pull 2 of them at a time. Now with splits, you could probably get away with this, but I wouldn't do it with big singles. That would wear this hand truck out. No problem at all. That's the other thing I like about this hand truck, is it's really light. I can't really throw the big blue one around. Usually to save my back, I just kind of tip them back like that. And see, that's the other problem, is that pipe wants to roll off of that lid and thump a little bit, and any kind of movement like that, 1, pisses the bees off, and 2, kind of knocks your equipment loose. So it'll knock your lids loose, it'll knock your boxes loose off of the pallet clips, and that's just no fun when you're moving bees. So there's a few adjustments that need made, not many, but for the most part, you know, she rolls pretty free. I mean, I can stop and shove, I can almost jump it if they were light enough, but you know, not bad, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So let's see here. Get up here. Get a different angle here. So stacking is a little bit difficult, because what you gotta do, come in and get it positioned kind of okay and correct. It usually doesn't take me this long because I'm on a trailer, not gravel. Pick it up and see the gap there. It doesn't want to push too good. Flatten it out going over the jar cap. Put it in position, lock it, pull the hand truck out, and voila, you're good to go. So that's how we use the hand truck to stack on trailers. I've got a little bit of video on where I how to strap the load down and use plywood and all that good stuff. So I'll put a video out on that pretty soon. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're headed on the ranch. We're moving hard and we're moving fast. I want to be setting at about 300, maybe a little more, going to Hayhira for the winter time. If I can squeeze that many in down there, I'm gonna have to up my yard size a little bit. I think I'm gonna have to make some 124s or something and fit it in 3 or 4 yards. But we can do it. It's no big deal. Not 124s, 128s, 264s. 64 to a trailer load, 2 trailer loads in 1 yard. Makes for a long day in the bee yard, but you can do it. It's no big deal. Robbing becomes an issue after a while, but after you get quick enough and you get tailored to really working in the South, it's not terrible. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we're up to on the ranch. Trying to survive one beehive at a time. But anyway, if y'all have any further questions, feel free to comment, or email me. I'll put my email and stuff in the description and all that good stuff. And any suggestions on stuff, you know, feel free to comment that too. I am open to suggestion and constructive criticism. So I am on the move. So tomorrow night we are getting the last of the load from Hayhira, and I'll shoot a little bit of clip using this hand truck. Don't have any video using this one yet, but it does work. It does work, I swear. I swear it works. But anyway, so we will see y'all on the flip side. Over and out.